Good morning and welcome to another exciting edition of Day 4 with Frank Scalish. Day 4, number 112. And we have a show packed with information and surprises. Uncle Frank, you like a good surprise, don't you?
I do, in fact. I like surprises.
It was a surprise to me this morning. I don't think we're going to let the cat out of the bag, so to speak. A little shout out to Bama there. But have you ever put your cat in an actual bag just to see what it means to let the cat out of the bag?
They jump in them on their own. If you take a grocery bag in my house and put it on the floor, you have both cats trying to get in that bag.
But I would imagine if they were in the bag, not on their own volition, and you opened said bag that neither cat wanted to be in, that you would get the true meaning of letting the cat out of the bag.
I think for one of the shows, we were going to do that.
Paper bag, of course, not a plastic bag, a paper bag.
A plastic bag with a very tight bound top.
a paper bag. The plastic bag, you'd let the cat out of the bag after 2 minutes and you'd be like, Bama, wake up.
Wake up, little girl. What's wrong?
But a paper bag, I think I would love to see the actual true meaning of letting the cat out of the bag. But we do have, you sprung it upon me this morning too. And I said, oh, really?
Yes, but we are not letting that fuzzy little creature out of the bag yet. We're going to hold on to that. We're going to hold on to that for a minute.
Oh, yes, we are.
We have some interesting things going on LureNet. There's some sales going on.
Yes, we have a great show today. We were not live last week, but I received numerous messages and emails about you giving up the juice when it came to different locations for the spawn.
Yeah, dude, did you get the one about the guy who threw the lizard?
Yes.
You got to tell the story.
There was a listener, I can't remember his name. I don't have my email pulled up, but he was in a derby. I think he was in a derby. Anyway, he was fishing with minimal success. He remembered, the lizard show. Tied on a lizard and caught like 5s and 6s, ended up having like 19 pounds and won the derb. It's a roundabout way for the story, right, Uncle Frank?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but that's pretty cool. I get a lot of DMs with fishermen that actually take some of the stuff that they learn on day 4 and experience success, and they DM me and we go back and forth on it because I like to hear about it. And then and the other thing is I like to hear their train of thought on it too. When did you think to change? Why did you change when you changed? You know what I mean? Because that's the important part of the game to me in fishing. And next week, I think we're going to do a whole show on that.
Yes, next week will be a recorded show as well. I will be at Wheeler Lake, and it worked last week. I said, hopefully I'll be fishing for a check, not fishing to survive. And I was. It worked out beautifully. So this week, hopefully when day 4 airs, I'll be a couple hours into the morning of the first morning at Wheeler Lake, and I will have had an early boat draw, and I will be on the mecca of all shell beds on the Decatur Flats, and I will be culling. I will be culling by 8:34 a.m. Central Time.
Yeah, with the Carolina rig too. That's my theory.
No, absolutely not. There will not be a Carolina rig out there. We are going to talk a little bit before we get into it. Like you said, it's Shad Week on LureNet. There's Banking Creek bags. There's a bunch of different stuff going on there. I know we don't talk tournament fishing very much here on Uncle Frank. And
we don't. We could.
But I just want to get your thought. I would venture to say that you have not seen. So Keith Poche fished the Bassmaster Open a month ago on Toledo Bend. And then he posted this video of him jumping like a rolling dam, I think was the name of it, to get into a 500-acre pond.
Okay.
He literally was like a foot and a half in the air. Anyway, he did this in the tournament, and it was deemed inaccessible water. It was basically deemed like another, like, so his day 2 weight was DQ'd. Yeah, like a 20-pound sack.
So they said, because they said it was non-navigable.
Correct.
Yes.
I mean, he was jumping the dam in his rig.
Kudos to him for having the cojones to do it. But I know the rule, and it has to be accessible, and that's deemed non-accessible.
Yeah. He contacted or has rules that one of the ways to access it from Toledo Bend is to jump the rolling dam. So he's saying, hey, it's a big hullabaloo.
Yeah, I don't know if he's gonna. You look, I don't know if he's gonna win that fight.
I think he lost it already. That's what he was not pleased with.
Yeah,
and then let it be known on his social media.
I'll tell you it like this, okay? I think that could open up a can of worms, and could lead to dangerous behavior, you know, from anglers.
I've never even heard of a roller dam. Have you?
I think it's like a ford where the water rolls over the top.
Yeah, it's a dam that's meant to be jumped.
Well, because what happens is, especially during a slightly higher water episode, you can actually get over them.
However, it was not a slightly higher water episode, so you could not get over it. Deemed part of the difference. What's the sketchiest thing you've ever done in a bass boat in a derby, Uncle Frank? Not big water, but like we
won't talk waves. We'll talk 4-wheel driving.
Yeah.
It was on the Red River, and trees had fallen across the river that I was running up to where my fish were at. And so I was driving my boat over these fallen trees, and I got the boat over the one tree. The water was high, so in the beginning I can bump and grind my way over these trees, but the water was receding every day. And so in practice, on the last day of practice, the water was coming down. I went back up there because I was trying to find fish in more than one spot, but I wanted to find fish in the same general area, maybe a couple miles apart, because I ran 21 miles up this thing. So I wanted to find fish within that section, so when I got up there, I didn't have to go make a long run to go somewhere else to go to another set of fish.
I got you.
Long and short of it is, I went up there and I took the same angle through these fallen trees, and I went up over it, and my boat fell off the tree and wedged between the outboard and the jack plate.
Oh, you're in a pickle now.
Yeah, now I'm basically screwed, because I can't get the tree. The tree's too big. I can't push the tree down to get the boat. You know what I mean? To get the boat out.
You're stuck. You're like a raccoon who's got his head in the tree and he could get it in, and now he can't get. Now he's stuck.
I'm stuck. So what I wound up doing was, I wound up actually standing on the tree, lifting up the outboard to try to get it unhooked, but I couldn't. Obviously, I'm not going to lift the rear end of a bass boat up with a motor on it.
Yeah.
So what I wound up doing was, I got like a big branch as a pry bar, and I started prying the boat sideways onto this tree. And then once I got the motor where I could raise it on my jack plate, I raised the motor all the way up on my jack plate and trimmed it all the way out. Then I slid the boat down so I could trim the motor down and have the motor actually lift the rear end of my boat up. So once I got the motor dislodged from the tree, I took a rope and I tied it to the ends of the tree branches, and I literally dragged the tree. I dragged it so I can get around the ends of the tree instead of have to go over them. So I wound up dragging these trees out of the way so I could get up there. And thank God I did, because the water kept coming down every day. I would have never got up there.
You'd have to call Tom Monsoor in his airboat to come get you.
That's right. I would have.
You'd have never financially recovered from that decision, Uncle Frank.
Never. And so what I wound up doing was, I tied the ropes to the trees and used basically my bass boat as a tractor to get them out of the way. And let me tell you something. It took me a long dang time, but it was worth it in the end.
Mm-hmm. That's good stuff. All right. Boy, I think instead of burying it in the middle of the show, now it is your show. It is Day 4 with Uncle Frank. If you want to wait to the beginning or end for the surprise, you can. But maybe we should tease it now in the first 10 minutes just so people are aware of what is happening. Or
Well,
do you want to
here,
wait till the middle part?
here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about the Bank and Creek bundle first. And during the Bank and Creek bundle, there will be a clue.
Okay. And our topic today is early season topwaters.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about, my topwater breakdown from.
I struggled with that at Bugs Island. When I got there, it was mid 60s water. Like, heck yeah. Let's throw a plug around. Let's see what we can get to come up. But then it was in the 50s, and then you're like, I'm always like, when do I start? Like, when is it? Because like I said before, if you're with Mark Jeffries, if it's open water, it's topwater season.
Topwater season.
I mean, he's like, ice out. Let's start throwing the spook.
100%. Let's dive into that. But can we do the? Let's do the bag.
Yes, we can.
First.
You're excited about the Bank and Creek bundle this year.
Yeah, I am. Dang it. So listen. So if anybody's, all the listeners that are listening, when you think you type it in. Just type it in. There's no contest. There is no contest. Just type it in and.
Oh, when you think you know what the
when you think
the surprise.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So I have emptied the Bank and Creek bundle. I literally opened it up and dumped it on my desk. So the first thing that we'll show you is there is another illustration by moi in there
with the prop bait.
That's a cotton cordell crazy shad. And there is your discount card that's going to be in there.
What is that discount card good for exactly?
Okay, the discount card could be for either 25%.
That one on you.
25. I can't read it. 25% off.
Okay, maybe it's on the Bank and Creek kit.
Yeah, 25% off, and there'll be a code on. Oh, I have a code. Oh, but I hit it. Okay. So there'll be a code on the back of the card.
Speaking of codes, I think we still have a code, don't we?
We do. BTL, capital BTL 100, 15% off till the end of June. So don't miss out on it because we're running out of time.
I not only worked that in, I also hit the banner, and that was not planned.
That was so smooth. And then you get your bite specs, which shows you, gives you tips on how to fish each one of the baits that are in the bundle, in the Bank and Creek bundle. All right, so now let's get into some lures. So I'm saving. I have 2 custom paint jobs in here, so I'm saving them for last. So first, what's in there is you've got the Jean LaRue drop shot bait. Can I open this thing? Ooh, I can. All right.
What does that smell like?
Well, I had to make sure that I wasn't going to be loaded with garlic when I opened it.
I got you.
I can never get the smell off.
I got you.
So hold on, I'm missing something important here. I am all over the board today.
You are.
You haven't noticed.
It's all good. It's all good.
Well, my lighting is terrible in here, and it shines from behind me into my face. So when I hold something up, if it's got writing on it, I can't see it.
Can't see it.
So I have to put it below my computer deck to read it. Okay, so you have the inchworm, which is a Ned worm from Jean LaRue.
Oh yeah, you can drop shot that. You can net it. You can light 100%. Texas. You can do whatever you want with
whatever you want. Yeah. And so with that, you've got the pig head, the Jean LaRue pig head football jig.
So it's basically a Ned head.
It's basically a Ned head with a little keeper system on it. An aggressive keeper system, I might add. No glue required.
Yep.
Anyway, you just thread the thing up on there. You get the idea. You
You're
guys,
good to go.
you're good to go. You get the idea. So the next thing in here is, around here, it's crappie time now, where I live. Of course, by you, Matt, it's crappie time anytime you're on the front deck forward facing,
Correct.
which I love. So you got your Bobby Garland baby shads in here.
Yep.
And then you've got I don't know if this is new by Bobby Garland. I never seen this thing before, but it is.
It's a crappie bait. I'll probably have seen it.
All right, so I'm gonna hold it up and you guess the name of it. Okay.
Oh, I'm not good on names. I just know if it's been in the.
All right, so you just tell me if you've seen this thing.
Uncle
before.
Frank doing more pack opening.
I know. This thing is so cool, dude.
I have not seen that before.
Isn't
that is a very cool. It almost looks like a swimming. It's a miniature swimming biffle bug.
Well, sort of, but I mean, this thing is slick, dude.
No, that'll definitely play in mud.
Okay, so the name of this fine creature, it's called the pile driver.
There you go.
The pile driver, as we talked about, slamming bass boats into trees and dams. Now we have a bait that follows suit. But so this is a pretty cool deal. And then of course you got some, 16th ounce Moglo crappie heads.
Okay.
To go with it. Now we're getting into some stuff here. So then you got, as the show's going to go today, Topwater, you've got a War Eagle 1/4 ounce buzzbait,
all right,
white with a red head, which follows suit. Then you have a custom painted popar, which I did not do this popar color.
Oh, that's cool.
But I'm taking it out because he got
brim color.
Oh yeah, dude, and it's a good one. It's a good. I'm hooked. Like for real. Look at that.
That is a very nice colored popar.
It is. It's a. Ow.
Did it get you?
Yeah. Well.
Pass the barb. That'd be an interesting show.
It's not past. Oh, I'd pull this little hooks right out.
Oh, no, you wouldn't. You can't pull it a little hook out past the barb. Those things stuck.
Yeah, the barb's tiny.
I've told you the story about my buddy who got one in the thumb, yanked it out, was like, oh, I'm tough. Had gotten the barb stuck around a nerve ending in the tip of his thumb, didn't realize it. There was something kind of sticking out of his thumb. He's like, what the hell is that? Takes a pair of freaking needle nose, thinks it's just skin or cartilage. Turns out it's a freaking nerve ending.
He caught it with the pliers?
Absolutely. Yeah, because he pulled it out when he got his hook stuck in his thumb, and now he's got no freaking feeling in his thumb for the rest of his life because he cut his nerve ending because he got a hook in his thumb.
Dude, I'm getting nauseous.
Said it was like a shot of electricity up his arm when he cut it. He was like, what the hell is this little white stringy thing? And he freaking nipped it off with his pliers. Boom. Freaking lightning bolt down his arm. Done. Can't feel his thumb anymore.
Wow.
True story. It's a true story.
So you guys remember about I'm changing this up.
Sorry, I didn't mean to put a damper on the Banky Creek bag there, Frank.
No. Hey, all stories are good stories. So remember
that one's pretty bad.
That was actually, you know what? I get it. I mean, I get it. What's that thing sticking out of my finger?
Yeah.
I get it. But yeah, that's a bummer.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyhow, you guys remember a long time ago.
Now we call him old numb thumb. Anyway.
We're going so nowhere fast, guys. So remember the pumpkin seed I painted. So they got the pumpkin seed crazy shad out now.
Okay.
Which is really sweet. I'm excited about this bait because I love the crazy shad. And then just to show you something here, they got the little boyo. You guys know what the boyo is.
Yep.
The super spook boyo. And they did my bleeding pearl shad. So here's, these hooks are killing me. So here's the Boyo bleeding pearl shad.
Oof.
This is a nice deal.
That's
And then
strong.
here's my paint job.
Wait, the one in your left hand.
The one with the tag on it is
that's
my
your
paint
actual paint job.
That's
and then
my
that's the one
actual
so they did
original.
a really good job.
They did a fabulous job on it.
Wow.
Absolutely fabulous job. So I'm really super excited about this. And this Boyo is a bad ombre.
How would you describe that color for those listening on
Okay.
on iTunes?
So what it is it has like a light pearl olive back to it. It's got, I'm going to call it purple pearl on the shoulders. But it's the color is not called purple pearl. The color is oh shit, I don't remember the name of it, but I'm going to call it purple pearl because it has a
lavender.
Yes, lavender. Thanks for helping me out. I'm slow today. I had a rough couple days. So it's lavender pearl.
It's partying it up, Uncle Frank?
No, I've been fishing my brains out and I'm exhausted. But and then it's got a chartreuse pearl stripe as a lateral line. And then it goes into a white pearl belly.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal color, Uncle Frank.
This color is something else.
Yeah.
And so at any rate, so that's in
the Bank and Creek bag.
Yeah, that's in the Bank and Creek.
It's a Topwater Bank and Creek bag.
Right. And then this is the Boyo Super Spook. And then of course I painted it on a junior blank. So that's the bundle. And I'm really surprised nobody's chimed in yet.
Nope, there's some people that have that think they understand what the announcement is.
Okay.
Frank and Frankie both fishing the 2024 Opens. Is that it? Was there a chance that could be an announcement in the near future?
That is not in the announcement for today.
Not in the announcement for today.
Not in the announcement for today, no.
Nate Wilson says, I know what it is.
Nate, you gotta say what it is.
There's a couple people here. Frank saying Color 7 Spook back online. Dustin Hobbs saying, oh, what is that? Where did that come from, Uncle Frank?
That came from me.
The Color 7. Now, instead of we were not sure. Well, just say the announcement.
Yes, we're doing it right now because it's appropriate timing. So again, this is my original hand painted, and it is woo. I have number 7 of color number 7. The spooks, the color number 7 spooks are in right now. We got them in early. They're in now. Don't freak out because they're not. That a boy. There you go, Matt. They're not going to be available until after the show today.
10:30 a.m. Central Time, 11:30 a.m. Eastern
time. And there's plenty of them, but they are available.
Lurenet.com.
Lurenet.com. They will be available today. And they will be available until there's no more left. Now, a cool thing about the color number 7 that I got to experience this year at the Classic with Matt was tons of people brought in their color number 7s for me to autograph at the Classic. My suggestion is to get a couple of these things, buy 2 to fish with and 1 to autograph if you have any aspirations of going to the Classic this year, and then I can sign them for you at the Classic. So this
or
way,
you could have Deshaun Watson sign it. Anyone,
you could have any
Indians players anywhere. It doesn't have to be us.
You could have anyone sign it. It doesn't have to be me and Matt.
Your mother-in-law. Who knows?
It doesn't matter. Just get them and get them autographed. But if you do bring them to the Classic, there's going to be a staple over here and a staple over here. Pull the staples out before you come to me.
All
because
right. Drunkwood has something. I think this is fair based on the frenzy that was created last time. Drunkwood says if the website crashes this time, Frank has to shotgun a beer on day 4 next week.
if the website crashes this time, I'll shotgun 3 of them.
You'll shotgun 3 of them if the website crashes this time.
I'll shotgun 1, 2, or 3, whatever.
Wait, we gotta dial this in now.
We have to. Hey, that has to be a night show.
It has to be a night show. We are due for another night show, Uncle Frank.
That has to be a night show. Oh, that is so funny.
Hopefully, it'll last longer than a day this time.
It will last longer than a day this time. Everybody's going to get them.
You can't say that.
Yeah, well, everybody who gets one's going to get one. That's my disclaimer on the color number 7. But like I said, I mean, seriously, if you guys, it was so much fun. It was so much fun signing those things at the Classic. One guy had 2 that he painted because he missed out, and he was a young kid actually. And so I got to sign 1, and Matt got to sign 1. It was fun. I mean, it was really a lot of fun. So keep that in mind. Obviously, I'm thinking about being at the Classic again, and I probably will be. So, anyhow, color 7, it's back. It's back, baby. Anyhow,
that's good stuff, Uncle Frank. All right, let's lead this into today's topic. You talked about the Bank and Creek bag, only 300 available with the numerous different Topwaters in it. One of the things that I struggle with and have struggled this year is when do you pull out the Topwaters, and based on water temperature, how do I know what Topwater to start with and what is my progression as that water warms?
Okay, perfect. I love it. Okay, so the first Topwater in the spring that I'm going to start chucking around is going to be a buzzbait. Make sure it's not.
Just derailed the show. Sorry. Continue.
Well, it will not be that choice of beverage for me, but not because of anything they're doing campaign wise. I just don't like it. So anyhow, so oh God Almighty, we're going down a bad road.
Topwaters, early spring or early in the year.
So buzzbait's going to be my first one. Now I've experienced buzzbait bites in water temperature that literally is just touching the 50-degree mark. What happens sometimes is if you have especially up north where we are, which actually happened this year, to be honest with you, we had unseasonably warm weather early. Things got moving, bass pushed up. Then we had massive cold fronts. We lost 10 degrees in water temperature. So the bass that went up stayed up, but the ones that were coming stopped moving. So it was a really weird transition in the beginning. Once the cold front hit. Before the cold front hit, it was like you would think it was the end of April here. Guys were smashing them in, no water. Fabulous time to do a buzzbait. So here's my thing with the buzzbait in the early spring. I'll start throwing this right before pre-spawn, and I'll throw it all the way till when the spawn starts. Because a lot of times a buzzbait strike, maybe not a catch, but a fish that comes up on a buzzbait, can give you a clue where they're bedding when you can't see them bedding. So sometimes it's a great search tool. So I always will start out with the buzzbait. Now I have a thing with my buzzbait in the spring. I don't like big buzzbaits. I'll throw a very compact 1/4 ounce buzzbait, keep it light, keep the skirt sparse, and then I'll put a slender trailer on it, split tail trailer, or like a ringworm. I'll cut the top off the ringworm and put it on so just a little bit sticks out past the skirt. That's my springtime buzzbait deal. And in the springtime, I keep them shaddy. I want it to be as bait fish imitating as I can possibly have it. The other thing is I won't I if I have a shiny bladed buzzbait, I'll scuff it up with sandpaper to dull it down,
Hmm.
or a scratch pad's better than sandpaper. It dulls it down, takes the shine off the blade. Um, I want it subtle, and I want to be able to make it so I could slow it way down and keep it on top, just going blub 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 blub. Not like warm weather buzz baiting where you're like you're
Right.
throwing it out. You know what I mean? I keep it real slow so I can keep it in their face. That's my early season buzz bait deal.
Okay.
So there will be a time when there's going to be better choices when you start transitioning away from the buzz bait. What, you got something?
I'm trying to figure out why you use a slender trailer on it. I get it. You want a small profile for the small shad, but wouldn't a bulkier trailer allow you to slow the bait down, rise more, and then keep it in their face longer, which is also
Yeah,
something you're trying to do?
yes, it does. But with the quarter ounce buzz bait,
Okay, with the quarter ounce. So the key there is quarter ounce.
right? It's the quarter. It's not a 3/8 or a half. It's a
Okay.
quarter. And so I can, using 17-pound mono, you can float that buzz bait.
Okay, that makes more sense then.
Right.
You see the contradiction that I was wrestling with in my
100%,
mind.
dude. 100%. And I totally get it and totally agree with it. You
Okay.
could so if I took so okay, let's just say for example, if I took a 3/8,
Hmm.
then I got to bulk the trailer up,
Yeah.
aka throw a swim bait on it or a frog style bait,
Hmm.
like a tip toad or a horny toad, something to keep it so I can
Yep.
creep it. But now I'm taking that bait and I'm making it that big instead
Yep.
of that big.
And you want to keep it small. So you're keeping it small, but you're also keeping it light
Right.
with the weight. Okay. Makes
Correct.
sense.
Correct. Um, the other, I have, okay, I'm going to give you a buzzbait tip right now. Um, my buzzbait tip of the day. I wonder if I can do.
Yeah, you can pop those open, no problem. Frank has gone to his quarter ounce War Eagle, white buzzbait, silver blade.
Correct.
He is not a fan of opening packages. I've
I
noticed that over the last year. It pains him
they're
greatly. So if
they're
Uncle Frank is
childproof.
going for a package opening, it's going to be a good tip.
Okay, so if you look at the buzzbait, okay, there's that clevis on the back. The first thing I do is I smash it down over here so the clevis cannot spin anymore. Now, War Eagle did this for you on this buzzbait, which is good. Smash it down. Then I take my pliers, my needle nose, and I need a pointer, right on the inside edge of the clevis. I'm going to
Hmm.
put my needle nose pliers and I'm going to squeeze it. I'm going to make marks in it with the pliers, like indentations of the serrated edge on the plier. Okay. Then I'm going to scuff this up on the blade itself. I'm going to scuff it up where it hits the clevis right there. This will make it squeak for you. It'll squeak and chirp. The squeaking and the chirping is what I want in a buzzbait. I feel that it gives you the most success with a buzzbait. So it squeals and it chirps and it squeaks, and that's what you want. And so that's one of my buzzbait tricks. Actually, I do that to all my buzzbaits, no matter when the hell I'm fishing them. I don't care if it's warm weather, cold weather. I don't care. I'm always going to do that with my buzzbaits. I want it squeaky, real squeaky. So then the slower you reel it, it makes that squeaky, chirpy sound. That's how I feel the buzzbait's super successful. So In fact, I got in a story. So Frankie was fishing a tournament as a co-angler. The guy he drew out with was on a buzzbait bite. I had given Frankie some of my buzzbaits to throw because he said the guy's on a buzzbait bite. So I said, here, chuck these. Um, so Frankie fished out of the back of the boat, and you know how it is when you got two guys in the same boat competing against each other. Both guys are throwing a buzzbait. It's it's as annoying to me as when both guys are throwing rattle baits.
Mhm.
I can't handle that.
Yeah, if I was
Uh,
that guy, I'd have told Frankie I was dragging something. And
right?
he'd been
Yeah.
like, psych, just kidding. Good luck.
Right. We're throwing football jigs,
Yeah.
3/4 ounce
It's
football
all you
jigs.
need.
All you need. Hey, we're fishing this deep all day. So anyhow, so Frankie mauled that guy from the back of his boat because he had the 1/4 ounce squeaker, and this guy couldn't buy a fish. I think he caught one to Frankie's,
I
however
bet that
many.
was a pleasant day in the front of the boat.
Oh yeah, I've been coming unglued. I've been coming apart.
You'd have been like, you make one more cast with that buzzbait, you'll have to extract it from somewhere to make another one.
Correct. So yeah, so anyway, so to me the squeak matters. Okay, so now we're done with the buzzbait. Um, Pre-spawn's winding down. Bass are something. A lot of the bass are starting to go on their beds. There's still tail end of the pre-spawn, but there's a lot of spawning going on. This is my absolute 100% crazy shad
Crazy
prop
shad.
bait. This is when I'll throw a prop bait. They, for whatever the reason, when those bass start to spawn, they can't stand that prop bait. I've caught more bass off beds on that prop bait than you could ever imagine. They, for whatever the reason, they take that thing. Um, so that's my transition. Early buzz bait, then I go to the prop bait. Um, as the spawn progresses, okay, now I'm going to throw the popper or the popper style baits because the fish are now you got fish that are spawning and guarding. You have some fish that spawned early guarding fry. You have some fish spawning, and a few fish are starting to trail out. So now the popper, because you could stop it, you could keep it in one place, you could and then leave it there. It drives them crazy. This is the time where the bass are funky. The ones that are done spawning are beat. They're not. They don't. They're not going to run food down. And the ones that are spawning are in protect mode. The ones that are guarding that nest are in protect mode, and of course the fry guarders are going to crash it because they're guarding fry. So anything that comes in the fry's way, they're going to eat it. So that's where I go to the popper style bait. After the end of the spawn, there'll still be spawners, but most of them are pre-spawn. And the ones that spawned early will be early summer. That's when I go to my spooks, my walk the dog style baits. Because now I can cover if I'm a lot of lakes that we have up here will have grass on them, and some don't, but some do. Now I can cover vast amount of water with this bait, and I can do it rather rapidly. Plus, if you don't have grass on your lake and you lay like the Super Spook Junior is one of my favorites. But so is the hard knocker because it walks like a maniac. But you could lay that thing up against a retaining wall and walk it down the whole retaining wall in like seconds. You could smack it into the wall, by how you work it. This bait is super effective. So what happens is you've got these bass, they're pooling out now. They're going to summer. They may not actually be on summer pattern yet, but they're going there. So this gives you a good opportunity to find out where they are in their transitional stage by where you're getting your strikes at. Knowing that's going to clue you into where they're going to start to stage for summer. So pay attention to this bite here, because this bite's going to keep you on fish in the summertime, because they'll start working down long points or working off big flats. So if you start catching them on these flats in these certain areas, I would be looking for the next major drop off into, into the main lake, because that's where they're going to stage after that to go to their true summer haunts. So this is a very important topwater bite here, because it can clue you into a lot of areas that are going to be that early summer area before they get truly offshore. And that's kind of how I handle my topwaters. I don't make rocket science out of it. I have a system, and it works for me. So I continue to use it. But just remember the tail end when you start to throw your walking baits. Now, don't get me wrong, walking baits could work early too, but I feel the percentage is in the other baits. That's why I always start with them. And then I'll go through my transition.
Okay. Answer me this then. You want your buzzbait to be slow.
Correct.
Because you're going to start with your buzzbait. That's going to be your earliest topwater that you're going to go to.
Correct.
I understand. I catch them on a buzzbait early too. I mean, that's a thing. But here's what I've never been able to understand. You can work a popper incredibly slow. You can go do with a spook incredibly slow.
Correct.
Why, when it's the coldest and the bass are the most lethargic, are you using the bait that you can go and work the fastest, and you have to keep moving in a straight line when you could work other lures so much slower? Because everything else in the cold winter, you're going to let the football jig sit. You're going to pause the jerk bait. But then when it comes to the very first topwater, you're going to have a bait that you have to keep moving. It seems backwards to me based on what it should be.
100% total reaction. You are actually making them eat the bait. The bass are shallow enough now, and they haven't been there. They haven't been there all winter long. And now you got something that's riding over their head. They're going to swat at it. Okay. Just their predatory nature. They're going to swat at it. That early stage, a lot of times you give them time to look at it with the pop art. They'll be like, nah, maybe not. But all of a sudden that thing's going, they're like, what the heck is it? You know what I mean? So it's totally reactionary.
Okay.
At that point.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Bucknuts 88 says, so back to the buzzbait for the fall then?
Yeah, 100%. But in the fall, you're moving it.
Yeah.
You're moving it in the fall.
What kind of retrieve do you use with your prop baits? That's a good question. I think that's a great question.
So because here's what I'm doing with the prop bait. I'm moving it. So I'm moving it like 6 inches to a foot and stopping it. All I want that bait to do is make bubbles and the buzz of the blade. And then I'll leave it there, and then leave it there. I keep it real subtle. Now I do a couple things to my prop bait. So I guess we're gonna go into it real quick. We've done it before.
Yeah. Yep.
I add a split ring, so I have 2 split rings. Get the trailing hook off the bait. I add one more split ring to the belly.
You're having an issue with the hooks today.
Yeah, does not play well with others. I'll add a split ring to the middle one, so I got 2 split rings on this bait. Each hook has 2. It gets the hooks off the bait farther, so when the bass grab it, they're hooked. They're not coming off. And the other thing, it keeps it away from the back blade. That's what I do. There's some other tricks that I'll do, but we'll get into that at another show.
Yep. Yeah, I think you've done that on a show. I feel
I did. I actually
about moving the changing the blades a little bit.
Drilled and put EVs in it.
Yep.
to make noise. But and that's kind of how I do it. I fish it slow and methodical. And if like I did a show with this bait last spring,
Mhm.
and the wind was blowing and I couldn't see anything. I couldn't see the beds, I couldn't see the fish, but I can see dark and light spots. So I would throw the thing up there, and when I came over a dark spot, I would slow and leave it, and then and leave it, and then all of a sudden the fish would come up and get it. Some of the Now the smallmouth explode on it. The
Yeah.
smallmouth will literally explode on it. The largemouth will just, and the bigger the largemouth, a lot of times it just sucks the bait down.
Yep.
You'll go, and then you'll just see a boil and the bait will go down.
Brett Anderson asked, does color matter much for buzzbaits? I would also like to get your take on the color of the blade in the spring, whether you want there's like the kind of oxidized chartreuse blade, there's a gold blade, and there's a silver blade, and there's a black blade. I would say those are probably the four main blades.
Okay, so in my buzzbaits, predominantly I'm using a matte finish gold blade, and a matte finished silver blade. I do not want it shiny at all.
Why?
I just like the subtleness of the matte finish. It's still going to reflect, but it's not going to be a bright flash. It's still going to reflect. Now, if the water's dirty, it's not going to matter too much. The flash could help you in dirty, dirty water, but my blades are matted. And if they're not matted, I scuff them up with a scratch pad to make them matted. That's just how I do it. Doesn't make it right or wrong or the best choice. It's just how I do it, how I prefer it. That's really it. Now I've used black blades, matte finish black blades. I don't like the heavy nature of a true painted blade for a buzzbait blade. I want the blade as light as I can make it, and a lot of painted blades won't squeak. So you have to scratch the paint off where the clevis meets the blade to get a squeak out of it.
We've seen your spinnerbait box and how you build spinnerbaits. Are you in an out of the package and just do your tweaks that you talked about with the buzzbait, or will you also carry a variety of different sizes and types of buzzbait blades and build your own buzzbaits as well and keep the clevises or the rivets? I think it's actually a half rivet.
It's half a rivet.
Keep that half rivet so you can build your own if you want to go up with a bigger blade with a smaller head, or a smaller blade with a smaller head.
Absolutely. I got about a half a dozen blades in my boat, not put on anything. About a half a dozen blades. Now my buzzbaits, I pre-blade them. So all I got to do is slap on a skirt color. Which we didn't answer the guy's question, so we will. But I do the same thing with my buzzbaits that I do with my spinnerbaits. I don't have skirts on them. I make the skirt on the water because sometimes if the water's real clear, I want something semi-transparent. As the water gets more off color to dirty, then I'm going to want to gradually solid up my skirt choice color. As far as color choices go, I like blue glimmer, chartreuse and white, and black and white. My buzzbait skirt choices are pretty simple.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't monkey around too much with that, because you could change the way a skirt appears by the trailer you use. For example, if I'm using a blue glimmer skirt, if I put a black trailer on it, it adds bulk. It looks like it adds bulk to the skirt. You've got this blue glimmery translucence around it with a dark center. It looks three-dimensional. It looks rounded. Same thing goes if you're using, a chartreuse and white skirt, and you go to a pearl white trailer, or you go to a pearl chartreuse trailer. It does the same thing. All of a sudden, it's adding this new look to the skirt itself. That's pretty much it. But I do trim my buzzbait skirts. I want most of the trailer sticking out of the back of it. So I'll cut them into a teardrop shape. I cut the front. If you take a buzzbait with a skirt that you put on it. Now the War Eagle's already pre-cut like that, which is kind of cool, really. It is actually 100% pre-cut like this. So you see how my back tentacles hang beyond the skirt, but your front ones are cut short. So what that does is that gives you a really good teardrop shape in the water as this skirt molds. And actually this bait, it's cut right where I would cut it to. I cut the front to right to the can you see that here?
Yeah, 100%. You cut it right at the base of the shank of the hook.
Correct.
Or the bend of the hook, the bottom of the deepest part of the belly of the hook.
Right to there. So now what I'll do is I would take these tail ones here, and I would cut them like that at an angle.
Like a V.
Like a V. But you got to cut them up. You have to cut them up. If you cut them down, it won't cut properly. You got to cut them up like that. And then I'll have my trailer, so my trailer sticks out past these tentacles. So the tentacles would be there and my trailer would be sticking out down here. So that forms a beautiful shad silhouette. And that's pretty much it for my buzzbaits. My buzzbait fishing is easy, man.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, because most of the bites are reaction bites. So you just need that thing to look like something and for them to see it. Black and white is real contrasty. I was fishing a tournament, Bassmaster event on the Potomac River, and it was unbelievable. I was getting blow-ups on my traditional blue glimmer skirt choice and my chartreuse and white skirt choice, but a lot of the fish were missing it. So I grabbed my black and white skirt with a black and white ringworm trailer, and they were annihilating it. So I think that bait silhouetted better for them, and they can see it better, and they had a target to go for. But they didn't want the hot chartreuse trailers. They didn't, you know what I mean? All the traditional stuff, they were missing it. They would blow up on it, and they just never, it's like they almost like they were hitting the bubbles behind it and not the actual bait. And so the minute I went to the black and white with the black trailer, I just started, they were taking it, they were getting it, which was sweet. So, you know, but I keep it real simple with the buzzbaits.
Good stuff.
I can't have the detail that I do with the spinner baits with the buzzbait, because if you overblade a buzzbait, a lot of times the buzzbait won't work. So you have to be really careful when you're starting to monkey with blade sizes on buzzbaits. So if you have to compensate somewhere. So like I've tried putting bigger blades on 1/4 ouncers, but they always go sideways on you. There's too much blade mass. Shad week.
It is also Shad week. I will bring this up as is very apropos based on what we were talking about, which is a day. This is day 4 of day 7 of Shad week on lurenet.com. Today happens to be Buzzbait day with the War Eagle Buzz Toad and the Booyah Buzz both on sale.
Good get, man. You are on it. You are right on the game plan.
Also, 10:30 a.m. Central Time, 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time, May 11th. We kind of snuck this one in.
Color.
We didn't really hype it up like we have in the past, but I know there's a lot of loyal listeners who got the short end of the stick the first time when it came to the color number 7.
Yes, and it's available. And
at 10:30, we're an hour away from it dropping on, and the only place that it is available will be lurenet.com.
That is the only place it will be available.
And I would assume it will be $8.99.
Yeah, same price, no difference.
Yeah, same price. So
No gouging here.
we tried to make sure that there's enough to where, because it's like kind of, I think it's a cool, like you said, it's a lure that you're going to want to keep in the pack and then hang on if you listen to day 4, but it's also one that you want to chuck around.
Oh yeah, it'll catch them.
See, I don't have one to chuck around. I've just got the one in the pack, so I'm gonna have to.
Well, see, the beautiful thing is at 10:30, you can have some on the way.
I can have some on the way. I'd also like to point out I cashed a check on a War Eagle spinnerbait last week at Bugs Island.
Outstanding, dude.
It was the one that had the silver. I'd never thrown it before. Had double silver willow leaf, half ounce, but it had the hologram thing on the blades, and then the blade was also like a sparkle clear translucent blade.
Yeah, it had.
And then is that Firecracker or something like that?
Yeah, I think it is Firecracker.
I absolutely loved that thing.
Dude, don't you just know when a spinnerbait's working right?
It just feels right.
It feels right.
It's
just doing what it's supposed to, man.
I got on a shad spawn, and there was like one of those where they would eat it as soon as it got out of sight, and you'd make that cast with the bow in the wind, and you'd see it, that blade, you'd see him start to spin, and it'd feel right, and then as soon as it'd get out of sight, I'd stop it and I'd half hitch it, and it would just go slack. It was the coolest thing ever.
That's the best bite on earth, man.
I had a limit in the first 12 minutes on day 2 on it.
Isn't that special?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Dude, that was a good job out of you, man.
Thank you.
That was a good event.
Also, I want to bring this up. We have just a couple days left for LureNet. They are also running a Mother's Day giveaway. Sunday is Mother's Day, and you can enter for your chance to win over $275 worth of shirts, hoodies, and lures. There it is right there. It's on the front cover of LureNet. Now, I am not speaking on behalf of LureNet, but I would assume this would, yeah, here you go. You sign up for the newsletter and stuff like that. So they're getting your email address, but you got a chance to win. Hopefully you're already signed up for the LureNet newsletter, because Frank it is. And then there's what you get, over $275.
I'm glad you
winner drawn on May 15th. So
I'm glad you reminded me of Mother's Day.
When you go, get your color number 7s, grab you a couple buzzbaits, and sign up for the Mother's Day $275. I know we push a lot of we obviously push a lot of LureNet stuff on here, but literally the only reason why day 4 exists is because of the support of lurenet.com,
right,
Pradco, and those brands. So
and you have to support what supports you. I mean, without that, no show.
Yeah, and that's why we don't run this standard BTL commercials and all that, because this is day 4 presented by LureNet.
Correct. And without the sponsors on day 1, 2, and 3, those shows don't exist. Yeah. So, it's all, I mean, you guys know how it works. I talk fishing, I talk lures, I design colors, I design lures, and I fish my brains out. And that's what I love to do. LureNet's a fabulous venue to get all of this done, and it works.
All right, I'm going to pull the music up, and then I need you to give me, to end the show, I want you to give me a 15 to 20 second sound bite where you're like, hey, guess what? Color number 7. We're back. It's back in stock. You can get it on LureNet. Let's see if you can live on day 4, number 112, take us out.
When you just got to clue me in when I got to say whatever I got to say.
All right. I think let's see if the music. All right. I'm going to go full screen with you, Uncle Frank. I don't know how to go full screen. How do I go full screen? That's not full screen. That's not full screen.
We're getting there. You only got one more choice.
We'll just give you that.
Do that one.
We'll just do that one. Let me turn the music down a little bit. All right, take us out, Uncle Frank.
Color number 7, available today. LureNet.com. 10:30 Central, 11:30 Eastern.
Beautiful. This has been another edition of Day 4 with the man, Frank Scalish. Next week, episode 113. we'll be talking about preconceived notions on the water. Great topic. Looking forward to it. Uncle Frank brought it, as always, early season buzzbaits, all sorts of stuff over at lurenet.com. Get your color number 7. Anything else, Uncle Frank?
We're good.
All right, we'll see everybody next week. See ya.